are talking a little bit more about projects and lists within Clickup today. So yesterday we kind of talked about the different departments of my business, and I actually walked you through every single department so that you could see all of my projects that I have within each department. And then today we're just going to take a little bit of a closer look at the features of those projects, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the list and how I color code all of my projects so that I just stay super organized and nothing slips through the cracks. So really good and quick little video today that I hope you enjoy. Okay, we are going over projects and lists. Now, these are the real important pieces to help me kind of get organized with what task I'm doing day to day. I did not come up with all of my projects all on my own. I went through a guided exercise inside of the Scalability Lounge, which is a membership by Haley Burkhead that has just really helped me make a lot more sense of my business and my schedule. So I will say this is kind of the aftermath of going through that. Props to her for that. As far as ClickUp and projects, let me explain a little bit more. So right here on the left-hand side of the screen, these are the projects that live within the spaces inside of ClickUp. So remember, spaces are the departments in my business, so operations, sales, finance, and HQ, and then with each of those departments are projects. Now you can organize it a little bit more. So sometimes within your project, there might be a lot of moving pieces or multiple phases. So you can create lists within projects. And then within those lists are where all of your tasks live. So here's a good example. Let's look at MBD website. I could just have one list that kind of like lists out everything, like all the general tasks that I need to do for my website, but I am planning a big blog revamp. So I've got one list for just my general website task and then one list for my blog revamp. Now, we're not going to be talking too much about what's on this side of the screen on the right side yet. We're going to really dig into tasks starting tomorrow in the next video. For now, we're really going to be focusing on just the list and everything that's in this kind of like left-hand sidebar. So you can see I've got two different lists for my website. You can see for my Facebook group, I've just got one list. You can see for my Squarespace kit updates for that project, I've got a separate list for each of my 4 kits, and then I've got a list for any task that has to do with all of them. So anything that's going to affect all the kits, and then individual projects for the separate kits. Now, let's also talk about all of these little yellow dots that you see. So if I hover over this, you'll see it says Q3, and then also over here is a yellow kind of shading. So this is something that I have recently done, and it's helped me go, this is what I need to focus on right now, and this is a project for the future. So you can see all of these say Q3, they're all yellow. Let me click down into this because I think this one's, yes, so this one's got a few different colors. So you can see right here, this is a Q3 project. So I want to be working on my Squarespace kits in Q3. I've got all of these other products that I want to add in Q4, and then I've got these other 2 products that are gray, so that means they're in done or maintenance mode. Now you can click these, so you can click where it says add edit colors, and then this is where you go to kind of like customize everything. And I don't really know how other people use these, but this is kind of a system that I figured out for myself that I'm like so guilty of thinking like 6 months ahead. So I'll have a project that I'm thinking about for the future, and that's all I'm thinking about in the present. So it's hard for me to get my current projects done. So this was like kind of a workaround. So you can see I've got one color for done, things that are good, they don't really need our attention, they're kind of running in the background. But then I've also got these other colors for different quarters throughout the year. And then a purple little dot would be for my personal projects, and then orange is for workout. Okay, so what I do is once a quarter, I go through all of my projects and I go, what do I need to do in the next quarter? And then I can kind of assess like, what are the projects that I'm getting done in the next 3 months or in the next 90 days? What do I think I can get done in that amount of time? And then I can just click and drag as I'm kind of like rescheduling things. So, like at the end, right now we're in quarter 3 of 2019. So, towards the end of this quarter, probably, I guess, probably at the beginning of September or mid September, I'll go through and I'll go through literally every single space, every single project, and I'll see when is it scheduled for. And if it got done in quarter 3, it'll most likely go into done or maintenance mode. And then I'll click and drag it down to the bottom of the stack. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Anything that happened in Q3 that needs to be pushed to Q4 will get updated to that. And so I just kind of am going through and I'm refreshing my memory of things that I said I wanted to get to later on in the quarter. So this has been so helpful for just making sense of my plans and staying on top of them, and then just constantly like staying in control of my schedule. Like, I'm seeing that something was important to me in the moment, and I'm able to assess, does this need to keep going and take priority over something else in the future? It's just helping me kind of adapt and be really flexible in my business. And like I said, I think like the feeling of control is really important for me, because freelancing and working for yourself can feel so chaotic a lot of the time. So this has been really helpful for me. So that is kind of an overview of projects and lists. Yesterday, if you didn't get that video, watch the second video in this series. It's all about the spaces. I go through each space and I really go through like, what are these projects? Today, I just wanted to go over a little bit more of the features. We've got projects, we've got lists, we've got these color coded things. You can see like these little numbers right next to each list. That's how many tasks are open or active. Let's click this little thing. So from here, I'll just point out you can also create templates and then create new lists from the template. So this is a really awesome time-saving feature. I've done this for, like, for instance, my Squarespace kits. So I'm updating all of my Squarespace kits and they're pretty much all getting the same update. So what I did was I created my first template for BBB. This is a template called Bang Bang Beauty. And I kind of created my task here. So you can see I've got a list for kit content that needs to be attended to for whatever reason, and then I've got to-dos for Teachable. And so I'm pretty much going to have to do these exact same updates to all of my projects, or to all of my Squarespace kits. So I created this one and then I just duplicated it, or I saved it as a template, and then you can click list from template and you'll search which template you want to use, and then you can just rename it and customize it from there. So that's really cool. You can also archive your project. So if you're like working with design clients or any kind of client, if you're a service-based business and you're through with their project, you can, or at least a portion of their project, you can archive it. So it's kind of that out of sight, out of mind, which can feel really rewarding, to like close up an entire project. So that's a fun feature. I think that's pretty much it for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back to talk about this side of the screen, the task. There's so much to dive into that I'll probably separate it into 2 days. It's going to be really juicy because the tasks are what actually move everything forward, and then the features within the task are what make them kind of magical. There's just a lot of really important and useful things. So we'll probably take 2 days to dive into task. I'm really excited about that. So thank you for following along, and I'll see you very soon.